In what ways does your media product use, develop or challenge forms and conventions of real media products?
We're going to start off with how we applied this for our video, and for our camera work we used handheld, GoPro, tripod and tripod wheels.
The GoPro was used to great effect. We used it to put on the top of the drum kit, and it kind of gave us a fisheye feel for the drummer. We've figured out you could use a fisheye in music videos when we were doing our research, and we found a video by The Strokes, and the majority of the video was actually filmed by GoPro. The handheld filming was just a general code of conventions, and most of the video is filmed by handheld, as are most rock videos of modern day.
We used the tripod to get footage of the entire band and stable position showing the environment around the music video, and tripod wheels at the end zooming out.
The tripod gave us a good wide view of the whole band that we could switch to if we needed to when editing back. We found this for our research through some of the You Me at 6 videos where the lead singer stands in the middle and the camera zooms up to him. The lead singer obviously favours the camera in our video, as it does with most others. For our audience research, we also looked at whether the audience would like the lead singer in the narrative as well. And although some people did, the majority didn't, so we left him out of the narrative because we thought he'd dominate the video too much.
For the narrative, it was all taken in handheld, and there was also an over-the-shoulder shot. A tripod wasn't used for this, as we wanted to provide a more natural feel.
A lot of modern day music videos of this genre use a narrative / performance type video, apart from the odd ones that are full performance or full narrative. After doing all our research, we decided to do a narrative and performance, but before recording the narrative we'd record the whole performance, so we could create a whole video of the performance and then slot the narrative in if we needed to, and if the narrative wasn't good enough we could also take it out.
For editing, our video was split into black and white, as our research had shown a lot of rock videos supported that colour scheme, and for the band performance in the barn we used a warmify setting which would contrast with the black and white and produce a powerful outcome.
The warmify setting kind of gave it a little bit of a sepia look, which is what I use on my digipack. The MTV logo was inserted in the top left hand corner as if it was a real music video being premiered on MTV. I also added a little animation that came out with the name of the song, and this made it look professional.
Also, to add to the professional look, there were two settings in Premiere Pro called Cinematic 1 and Cinematic 2, in which I used Cinematic 1 for the warmify and Cinematic 2 for the black and white, which helped the video seem a lot more realistic in this day and age.
Once again, in Adobe Flash, nowadays some music videos in this genre will have a title appear at the beginning, whether it's in film or in text or animation form. We decided to do it in animation form, and I done it in the font that is known very well as the Killer's font, called Sam's Town. And what I did is I put it on Flash, broke it apart and then made each dot appear separately. Our editing was characterised by quick cut transitions, which were edited to the speed of the music for the majority of the video. We found out that nearly all rock videos have very quick cuts between band members, narrative, depending on the speed of the video. For example, during the verse, the cuts will be quite slow compared to the chorus. When the beat of the song is very high, the cuts will be very quick.
Different effects used were the three-way colour wheel, black and white, alpha adjusts, and pro camp, as well as brightness and contrast and slide tool.
We also used superimposition. We did this later on in the video to make it look like the projection was actually behind the video instead of the video being on top of the projection. We found out that bands sometimes use special effects depending on the name of the video. We didn't necessarily feel it needed it, but it helped it. When I was doing my research of Smell Like You Mean It by The Killers, they had a whole video where the main singer is literally a ghost and he's a superimposition on the whole video.
We also initially were going to use flashing lights with the strobe, but after reflection we decided that our video was a lot more powerful without them, although we'd previously researched many videos that used flashing lights to suggest the theme of rock. Before creating our video, we had to prepare in advance, so the lead singer had to practice fitting the role of Brandon Flowers, who is the lead singer of the actual band. So I had to practice with him roughly 4 times, and it was visible to see how he'd improved by the 4th take. And by doing this, it was challenging the conventions of an actual music video. And on the day of the shoot, we came to the conclusion that he should actually sing, and we cut out the sound and play the sound of the actual song.
For marketing the product, we obviously first went for target research, as most companies would. We went to find people that would be suitable, to ask questions, to see what they would expect from a video, what band they liked, what they'd expect in the video. Pretty much audience expectations. This would help us challenge the forms and conventions of real media products in the future.
We also used target audience research for our digipacks and magazine adverts for the ancillary text.
We used a website called UK Tribes to single out what our target audience was and to help us get into the mind of our target audience. If we were in the mind of our target audience, we could easily create a video that they liked if we liked it.
For our research for both the magazine advert and digipack designs, we felt there was nothing more effective than looking at existing advertisements and CDs that are out in the industry today. The research we did beforehand were analysing existing digipacks and adverts, and also looking at iconic album covers. My way of doing this was actually reaching out to my target audience via Facebook and seeking their opinions.
We also looked at previous albums made by the Killers to try and keep in the house style that they had already created.
And we also looked at templates, as this topic was new to us.
The main things I researched in the digipack was the textiles, which obviously were going to be a main part of the digipack. Going with the textiles, I realised there are many different fonts on the digipack and the magazine advert. The magazine advert is pretty much an extension of the digipack if it's advertising the same thing. For the textiles, I realised that the band's font is always different to the name of the album, and these appear next to each other and the fonts must go together. And all the font on the back as well is different, as well as being different sized, different coloured, depending on what it is for the copyright information or not. The copyright logos are always conveniently placed small and in the corner, just like on existing digipacks, and we also put a barcode on there that we made ourselves. For my digipack, I created a booklet, which isn't in every digipack, but it is in most of the Killers, so I thought I'd try and continue that tradition. In the most modern digipacks nowadays, some bands do a live album, and the Killers had already done one, which was called Live at the Royal Albert Hall. And I looked at the digipack for that, and they had a picture of each member of the band on the inside of the booklet, and I pretty much replicated that for our own band and in our own style.
For my digipack, I had a different approach. My research suggested that colour was the most dominant factor in showing the link. However, I applied the same idea with my text. I continued the text from our music video onto the advert, magazine advert and digipack, but changed the album font. Also, the imagery I used was of the lead singer, but it was cropped in a certain way that would leave his identity in a mysterious format. And this idea was inspired by Sam's Town, where they followed the black and white theme, and there was almost mystery hidden behind the front image. And I carried this through on my CD design, and also the back cover, which links a lot more to our song When You Were Young, showing a girl moving, and as she moves, she becomes old.
For our research at codes and conventions of our music genre, we realised that a live performance is normally performed somewhere random, not necessarily related to the meaning of the song. So for ours, when we were coming up with ideas, we had a few ideas, but a barn instantly stood out for us. And from our research, a live performance could easily be performed anywhere, so why not a barn?
We also challenged the idea of having an unexpected location, a studio, outside versus inside, and in the end we sort of compromised all of these to have a barn. Due to the genre being indie rock, our research into ideal clothing was a challenge, as it had to relate to the rock target audience, we used sites such as Paper Doll Heaven to sort of create animated models, so when we put it to life, the members of the band would suit the ideas in our head.
The costumes kept in the style of our genre, which was well researched, casual yet smart. But we also kept the stereotypical leather jacket that the lead singer of The Killers actually wears. To make our video look very professional, we also had to hire outside lighting, LED floodlights and a strobe light. The strobe light was for the flashing lights, which we declined to use in the end. But this also lit up the stage and where our band was performing.
We also hired a smoke machine, which we felt worked well juxtaposed next to the lighting, and it gave the feel of the live performance.
Our research for the smoke machine came from Nirvana's video Smells Like Teen Spirit, where pretty much the whole scene is smoky. Whereas in our video we chose to only do it in a slow part of the video to make it look kind of a little eerie, which I feel worked very well, and it makes it look very professional. The video also fades at the beginning and the end. It fades in from black and it fades to black at a moderate speed, which happens at most music videos depending on how they end. Whereas ours ends on kind of a low tone and drags out. We thought it would be appropriate to fade it, and this is a general editing technique which is used in the music industry.
For our music video, in advance we had to prepare assessment and planning sheets. This would be done when creating a video in the industry today, such as call sheets. I made us a call sheet before our main day of shooting at the barn, and this made sure that everything went to plan, bringing in the circumstances of actors being unavailable last minute, the weather, which we would rate from moderate, high to extreme. And this provided Jake and myself with an insight onto what we could and couldn't do in the location of choice.
When picking the band, we made sure that our members that are playing instruments, the two guitarists and the drummer, had actually had some history of playing instruments. Because when we came to edit it up, we realised that if you could play the right chord and it looked like you could play the right chord, it looked a lot better than if you didn't look like you could play guitar.
We also made sure that they visually fit the part of a rock band and that they worked well together as a group.
In addition to costumes, we also tried to model each member of the band on someone who's already exists in the music industry. For example, the lead singer was obviously styled on Brandon Flowers. Our drummer was potentially going to be in the style of Travis Barker, the drummer from Blink-182. Our bassist was in the style of Mark Stormer. And our electric guitarist was just in the general style of all guitarists, with a leather jacket and a dark logo t-shirt.